Picture this for a moment. It's early morning, the magpies are just starting their daily chorus, and you are standing quietly in your kitchen. You reach for a fresh, bright lemon, slice it cleanly in half, and squeeze that tart juice into your favorite mug before pouring boiling water straight from the kettle right over the top. Then you simply toss the squeezed, empty rind straight into the compost bin or the rubbish. Stop right there. Doing this is exactly like buying a phenomenally expensive, highly advanced motor car, keeping the steering wheel, and immediately throwing the entire engine into the scrap heap. You are casually tossing away the most incredibly valuable, biologically active part of the fruit. Meanwhile, you are blasting the delicate remaining juice with boiling hot water, completely destroying whatever fragile goodness was left in the mug. I know exactly why you do this. Of course you prepare it this way, because the juice is the part that actually tastes like food, while the peel is incredibly bitter, thick, and terribly tough to chew. Every modern recipe and morning television show tells you to just squeeze the juice and drink it hot. It is completely natural that you follow this advice when you are just trying to do the honest, right thing for your health and daily vitality. Type a plus below if you usually throw your lemon peels straight into the compost. Stick with me today. By the end of our chat, I am going to show you a completely weird, scientifically backed physical preparation method that changes everything. We are going to use a specific combination of physical breakdown and temperature control to unlock the true biological power of this fruit. To really understand the sheer scale of what is happening inside your morning mug, we have to look closely at the incredibly fragile nature of vitamin C. We all know that this specific vitamin is absolutely essential for keeping our immune system ticking along nicely. It also helps our skin stay reasonably firm and our joints healthy as the years inevitably roll by. When you squeeze that fresh juice, you are indeed getting a lovely, concentrated dose of ascorbic acid, which is the natural, raw form of this vital nutrient. But here's the heartbreaking catch. Most of us completely miss this crucial detail in the busy morning rush. Ascorbic acid is incredibly sensitive to heat, and its molecular structure is highly unstable when it is suddenly exposed to extreme temperature changes. Think of these vitamin molecules as incredibly delicate, hand-blown glass ornaments sitting on a table. When you pour water straight from a roaring, boiling kettle right over that fresh juice, the sheer thermal shock is devastating. It literally shatters those delicate vitamin C molecules on contact, breaking them apart before they even reach your lips. You're essentially cooking the vital nutrients out of existence in a matter of seconds. Big mistake. All that is left in your favorite cup is some lovely lemon flavor and a bit of warm, highly acidic water. It might soothe a scratchy throat on a cold morning, but it does absolutely nothing for your deep cellular health. We have been heavily conditioned by marketing to believe that a steaming hot cup of lemon water is the ultimate morning health tonic. Yes, the warmth feels wonderfully comforting on a chilly winter morning, but that intense boiling heat is actively robbing you of the very immune benefits you are trying so hard to consume. So your morning juice is biologically dead. But all this effort is completely overshadowed by the absolute tragedy sitting right there in your kitchen bin. Understanding how boiling heat destroys the juice is just the very first piece of this biological puzzle. The discarded peel you just threw away is actually a complex, multi-layered medicine cabinet that nature designed perfectly to protect and heal the human body. Let us take a much closer look at the intricate anatomy of the lemon skin itself. We must start with the thick, white, spongy layer sitting just beneath the yellow surface. Botanists call this the albedo, but most of us simply know it as the pith. Most folks actively avoid the pith because it has a terribly chalky, dry, and bitter taste that absolutely ruins a good recipe. But nature is incredibly clever, and she often hides her most potent, powerful compounds behind a strong wall of bitterness to protect them from wandering pests. Think about it. In this specific case, that white sponge is absolutely packed with a remarkable, highly active bioflavonoid called Hesperidin. Hesperidin is a true structural powerhouse that has a profound direct impact on the integrity of your blood vessels and your overall daily circulation. As we get a bit older, the veins in our lower legs have to work incredibly hard against the constant, unrelenting force of gravity. Every single day, those veins must push heavy blood all the way back up from your feet to your heart. Over decades of walking, standing at the kitchen sink, and working in the yard, the walls of these blood vessels naturally lose their youthful elasticity. They become a bit slack, a bit tired, and they struggle to maintain their tight, efficient shape. It is exactly like an old rubber garden hose. Imagine a hose that has been left out in the blazing Aussie sun summer after summer without any care. The rubber gets incredibly stiff, it loses its natural bounce, and eventually the internal water pressure causes it to bulge, crack, and leak. When your own blood vessels lose their tone, fluid can easily leak out into the surrounding muscle tissues. This is exactly why your ankles might swell up and feel incredibly tight after a long afternoon working in the garden. It explains that heavy, dragging sensation in your calves when you try to take the dog for a simple afternoon walk. Hesperidin acts like a rich, restorative, nourishing oil rubbed directly into the stiff rubber of that old garden hose. It actively helps to strengthen the endothelial lining of your delicate veins. By improving their flexibility and restoring their structural tone, it drastically reduces that heavy, exhausted feeling in your lower legs. By throwing the white pith away every morning, you are casually discarding the exact chemical compound your body desperately needs to keep your circulation flowing smoothly. Never do this. Yes, the pith contains the vital structural support your tired veins absolutely crave, but you cannot simply slice off a thick piece of raw lemon rind and chew on it like an apple. The texture is far too tough for human teeth, and the overwhelming bitterness will completely destroy your palate for the rest of the day. Remember my promise from earlier about a specific preparation method to solve this? We are getting closer to that exact technique, but first we must look slightly higher up the fruit. Sitting right above that white pith is the very outer layer of the lemon, the bright yellow skin known as the flavido. This vibrant yellow layer is where the intensely aromatic essential oils are carefully stored in thousands of tiny microscopic pouches. When you grate a fresh lemon and that wonderful sharp citrus smell instantly fills the entire kitchen, you are actually experiencing a chemical release. You are physically rupturing those little pouches and releasing a highly volatile, powerful compound called d-limonene. This specific essential oil is a profound natural ally for one of the hardest working, most abused organs in your entire body. I am talking about your liver. Your liver is not just a simple passive filter sitting quietly in your abdomen. It is the master chemical processing plant that keeps your daily energy levels stable and your metabolism firing on all cylinders. Every single day and night it deals with the heavy byproducts of our modern, convenient lifestyle. It processes the hidden preservatives in our packaged food, the environmental pollutants in the city air, and the metabolic waste our own cells produce. Over time, trying to process all of this heavy chemical traffic becomes an incredibly overwhelming task for an aging organ. It is exactly like trying to dry a massive mountain of wet dinner plates with a single, soaking wet tea towel. The system completely breaks down. The liver gets bogged down, it becomes deeply sluggish, and the entire chemical processing line grinds to an absolute halt. This internal traffic jam directly translates to you feeling utterly exhausted and completely drained by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You might blame your advancing age, the hot weather, or a poor night of sleep for this sudden fatigue. But often it is just a tired, overworked liver crying out for a bit of biological support. D-limonene acts like a gentle, natural solvent that helps your liver produce specific, highly active enzymes. These enzymes are explicitly required to break down stubborn, fat-soluble toxins and flush them safely out of your system. It essentially wrings out that soaking wet tea towel. By clearing the backlog, it allows your liver to get back to its primary job of turning stored body fat into usable, vibrant daily energy. When your liver is functioning cleanly and efficiently, that thick, frustrating morning brain fog finally begins to lift.
You suddenly find you have the actual stamina to play with the grandkids on the floor without needing a long afternoon nap just to recover. Yes, the d-limonene in the yellow peel is an incredible, life-changing catalyst for your daily energy levels, but it is tightly locked inside those tough, microscopic oil glands on the very surface of the fruit. A quick lazy squeeze of the fruit halves leaves all of this incredible biological potential completely untouched and wasted. So your circulation is supported and your liver is craving this oil. But all this potential is completely blocked by a massive hidden hurdle placed directly in our way. If you buy your fresh lemons from a major commercial supermarket, you are not just getting the natural fruit from the tree, you are actually getting a thick layer of artificial synthetic wax sprayed right over the top of that precious yellow flavonoid. The modern food industry uses these food-grade cosmetic waxes for entirely visual and logistical reasons. Do you feel cheated when supermarkets coat our fresh fruit in artificial cosmetic waxes? They do this to make the lemons look incredibly shiny and appealing under the bright artificial store lights. It also prevents the fruit from naturally drying out and shrinking during months of transport and cold storage in massive warehouses. While this wax is technically deemed safe for human consumption by the authorities, it creates a massive biological problem for us. It acts as a stubborn, waterproof barrier. This synthetic coating completely locks the essential oils inside the peel and prevents your digestive juices from properly breaking down the fruit. If you try to extract the d-limonene and Hesperidin without dealing with this exact wax barrier first, you will fail. You are simply swallowing a synthetic coating that your delicate digestive system will struggle immensely to process. We are facing an incredibly frustrating modern situation. The absolute most valuable medicinal parts of our daily food are being treated as disposable packaging by the massive agricultural industry. It is maddening to realize that the beautiful, shiny skin on the fruit you bought to improve your health is working against you. That cosmetic barrier actively stops your body from accessing the very nutrients you paid good money for. Yes, you absolutely need to consume the whole peel to get the life-changing benefits for your veins and liver. But if you do not properly prepare the physical surface of the fruit first, you are entirely wasting your time, money, and effort. Where are you watching from today? And what does a bag of fresh lemons cost there? If you are incredibly fortunate enough to grow your own lemons on a tree out the back, you are blessed. If you buy them straight from a trusted local farmer who absolutely does not use cosmetic waxes, you are already one massive step ahead of the game. But for everyone else living in the modern world, removing that artificial wax is an absolutely critical, non-negotiable step. We must do this before we even think about unlocking the deep biology of the peel. It is not a difficult process, but it requires a specific, gentle approach that most folks simply skip. They skip it because they are rushing to get their morning started and do not understand what is at stake. By taking just a little bit of deliberate time to respect the whole fruit, we can completely bypass the food industry's cosmetic tricks. We are finally getting to the exact protocol I promised you at the very beginning of our conversation. But there is one final, absolutely fascinating piece of biology hidden deep in the peel that we must understand first. Alongside the essential oils and the vein-supporting bioflavonoids, the thick skin of the lemon holds another secret. It is incredibly rich in a specific, highly complex type of soluble dietary fiber called pectin. Pectin is not just basic roughage designed to keep your bowel movements regular and predictable. It is a highly sophisticated, targeted prebiotic food source. This fiber is explicitly designed to feed the trillions of good, beneficial bacteria currently living in your lower digestive tract. As we inevitably age, the sheer diversity and strength of our gut microbiome naturally begins to decline and weaken. This age-related decline can lead to terrible bloating, highly unpredictable digestion, and a severely weakened immune response to seasonal bugs. The good bacteria in your gut absolutely thrive on natural pectin. They eagerly ferment this soluble fiber to produce incredibly powerful short-chain fatty acids, specifically one known as butyrate. Butyrate is a miraculous little biological compound that actively reduces chronic inflammation along the entire delicate lining of your gut.
It provides a steady, slow-burning, incredibly reliable source of energy for your entire body. It is exactly like putting a massive, dense, slow-burning ironbark log into a combustion heater to keep the house warm all night. This is vastly different from just throwing in a few flimsy sheets of newspaper that flare up brightly and vanish in seconds. When you throw the lemon peel into the compost bin, you are making a terrible biological mistake. Stop doing this. You are feeding the earthworms a magnificent, life-giving prebiotic feast while leaving your own internal gut bacteria completely starving. By finding a way to comfortably consume the pectin alongside the oils and the pith, you change everything. You are actively, deliberately rebuilding your entire digestive health and immune system from the inside out. Yes, pectin is an absolutely incredible premium fuel for your aging microbiome, but it is tightly locked inside a tough, fibrous botanical matrix that human teeth and saliva simply cannot break down efficiently on their own. We have to use a very specific physical preparation method to shatter that matrix apart so your digestive juices can actually get to work on it. So, my friend, we have reached the absolute turning point of our consultation. We now clearly know that boiling hot water instantly destroys the fragile vitamin C in the juice. We know the bitter white pith holds the Hesperidin required to protect and restore your tired, aching veins. We know the bright yellow skin contains the d-limonene necessary to gently scrub and rejuvenate your exhausted liver. And we know the whole tough rind is packed with the pectin needed to fuel your starving gut microbiome. It is time to stop throwing the incredibly valuable engine away and start using this remarkable fruit exactly the way nature intended. Here is the straightforward, no-nonsense daily protocol to completely transform your morning routine and reclaim all of those lost nutrients. First, we must completely eradicate the supermarket wax. Place your whole, uncut lemons into a glass bowl of warm water and add a good heaped tablespoon of common baking soda. Let them soak quietly for about 10 to 15 minutes to allow the alkaline reaction to break the wax bond. Then, use a rough kitchen cloth or a stiff vegetable brush to give the skin a gentle but very firm scrub. The mild, natural abrasiveness of the baking soda combined with the warm water will easily lift off that synthetic shiny coating. You'll be left with a clean, naturally dull, highly porous lemon skin that is finally ready to yield its medicine. Rinse them off under cold running water and pat them completely dry with a clean, soft tea towel. Did your mother keep her fresh lemons in the fridge crisper or out on the bench? Now, instead of cutting the lemon in half and lazily squeezing it, you are going to grab your sharpest kitchen grater. Use the fine side of the grater to carefully and deliberately zest the entire outside of the whole lemon. You want to get all of that bright yellow flavido, and you absolutely want to grate deep down into the white spongy pith as well. Do not hold back. By grating the peel this finely, you are physically rupturing those tough microscopic oil glands and releasing the trapped d-limonene. You are completely shattering the tough fibrous pectin matrix so your delicate gut bacteria can actually access the fuel. You are miraculously turning a tough, unpalatable, bitter rind into a highly fragrant, delicate, completely digestible zest. Once you've grated about a heaped teaspoon of this powerful whole lemon zest, place it into the bottom of your favourite morning mug. Now cut the remaining naked peeled lemon in half and squeeze a little bit of the fresh juice right over the zest. Here's the absolute critical non-negotiable step to save your fragile vitamin C from total destruction. Do not use boiling water. Boil your kitchen kettle as usual, but then walk away and let it sit quietly for at least 10 to 15 minutes. You must wait until the water is comfortably warm, absolutely not scalding hot. You want the water temperature to be very similar to a warm, comfortable bath, something you could easily dip your finger into without pulling it back in pain.
Pour this gentle, warm water directly over the fresh juice and the grated zest and give it a very good slow stir. The gentle warmth is just enough to safely encourage the essential oils to release from the zest into the water, creating a beautiful cloudy infusion. But it is entirely safe and gentle enough to perfectly preserve the highly fragile vitamin C. You are now drinking a complete, biologically active whole fruit elixir. This single mug now actively supports your immune system, strengthens your tired blood vessels, and gently cleanses your sluggish liver.
It perfectly feeds your starving gut microbiome and provides a steady, reliable source of daily energy. You have completely changed the rules of the biological game just by slightly altering how you physically prepare the fruit. It is that simple. This information is strictly educational to support your daily vitality. Never change your doctor's medical treatment without their consent.